Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry, got something in my throat. But nonetheless, today exciting day as well. Kind of like every day is an exciting day here within the garage. It seems like I'm envy of most people since I have one of the best jobs out there. But nonetheless, today is one of those days where we kind of completing the build on the single turbo manifold. So in so doing, we got two parcels, rather it's one parcel, but two boxes that has arrived today. And these are the wastegates. One of the most crucial parts of the manifold build itself is having a good quality wastegate that's system itself, because it controls the boost, it controls a lot of the aspects for which will either give you issues at the end of the day or will either bring joy to your face or a smile to your face rather. So without further ado, let's get to the unboxing of the two Precisions 40mm V-band wastegates that I have acquired for the manifolds itself. These will be sold with the manifold itself. They're quite expensive, but they're the best on the market, and they will definitely not give you any issues like boost creep and so on if it's wired or plumbed correctly. But let's get straight into the unboxing. So it comes quite nicely packaged in Precision style. It says here the winning edge in boosted performance, and I totally agree with this here. So it comes with instructions like this here and all of that there on the inside, but we'll get to it. So on the inside, again, here's your instructions here. It comes with a multitude of springs, so I think we'll get to what the springs, which each one is, we'll get to see it on the actual instructions itself. But this is the physical tool to remove the top hat of the wastegate itself. And then at the bottom of it, before that spring runs away from me. Okay, so that's all your springs. This is the tool to remove it, kind of like a coilover spring, a coilover tool to remove your coilovers. And then in this box here at the bottom, we have the physical wastegate. So this is the wastegate here, like that there. This is the V-band that will connect to the screamer pipe, or it will go back into your downpipe if need be. And this will connect to your manifold, which is here. So okay, so these are the ports and the fittings. So these are two block offs. You can either block it off, use one port, or use both the ports if you want full control over the wastegate. Or alternatively, I'm trying to get this out. So this here goes to the actual manifold. So it comes with some nice flanges and some nice V-band clips as well. Now the beauty about this and why I chose this over the 2-bolt method is to install this here into tight spaces is the best way, and you make sure that you have a proper seal. So the springs that actually comes on the wastegate itself, I think it's a blue spring if I'm not mistaken. But let's put this aside because I've already taken one apart. I'm going to be changing the spring pressures on our application itself. So you can identify the spring pressures by these markings. So this is a red one. The smaller one here is a black one. This is a green one, and so forth. So there's a whole multitude of springs that it comes with it, which is the nice thing. The reason being is that some of the kits that come don't actually have all of these different springs, and you'll have to go out and buy each of these springs individually depending on your needs or your requirements. So there's kind of some instructions as to how to open up the wastegate itself and things like that there. I'll take you guys through how I did it, because I have opened up one already, because I'm going to be changing the spring pressure on it. But here you can see, so the black one is a 2 psi spring, which is a smaller one, and it works its way up all the way to 16 psi. So what we're going to be installing on the car is a purple spring, which is a 16 psi spring. And so I could have got to 16 psi by like doing 110, maybe a 4 and maybe a 2, but I prefer just putting one spring inside, which is a 16 psi. So each wastegate will both have 16 psi springs sitting on the inside. Now I've taken this one apart already, and a good way to do it is what you do is you take when it's still in its complete form, meaning when this is still compressed down, put it on a vise. I use this particular towel here just so that I don't scratch the top hat. Put this in a vise, squeeze it together, and then your tool actually slides onto here on on the side like this here, and you turn it anti-clockwise, and it comes off the actual sealing ring here at the bottom. So this is your diaphragm. This is the retaining clip. So that's the retaining clip. This is the top hat. Not much to the wastegate itself. And what the wastegate actually comes with, it comes with one blue spring, and I think it's either a red or an orange. So if we look at our diagram here, a blue spring is a 4 psi, and an orange spring is a 10. So together it's 14 psi's in total. So what that technically means, with no boost controller in place, you will ultimately get 14 psi, which is 1 bar of boost. So I just want over a bar of boost for the stock application. So yeah, it gives you the different spring charts and yeah, all of that nonsense itself. So I'm gonna take these two out, right? I'm gonna put it back into the box in which it came inside. And then I'm just going to run one spring, which is the 16 psi spring, which is a purple spring. Let me get that for you guys now. So this is the spring that I'm going to put inside. You can see it's the purple spring. Can't really see it in with the light. The purple spring goes in. But what I need to determine is, how does the spring set? Does it set like this, or does it set like this here? It doesn't really matter. Now, the question is, why didn't I just go buy a cheap Mr. Turbo wastegate or a Chinese wastegate? The problem is the actual wastegate designs are pretty much similar, but where the cheap ones fail is on the actual piston itself. Now this particular piston is made up of, I'll tell you now, well, it's made up of some special type of material, but you can see the design on the inside. You can see the piston itself at the bottom. You can see how it seats. You know, overall it's a good quality design. So about 3,000 Rand more per wastegate. I think this is a much better option, less headache in the long run. You can see the quality of the diaphragm. You can see the material used. Absolutely fantastic. So what I'll do now is I'll put this on here. I'll then put my ring. I'm gonna see which way the ring goes. Okay, the ring goes like this here, and I'll put this here on top. Maybe I'll put the ring, I'll do this here, just like that. See that? Put that on there, and then I'll put it on my bench, and I'll compress it, and then I'll use this particular tool here to close it up again. So let's go and do that. So this is what I'm referring to. It's on my vise. I got my cloth here so that I don't scratch it. With it completely pressed down, all you're going to do now is lock it in its grooves and tighten the ring. Doing this with my left hand, so it might be a bit difficult. And then you'll tighten the entire ring until it goes down and it seats properly. Once that is done, you know you have proper spring pressure raised. You can actually turn it with your hands because there's pressure applied by the vise. So I'll just give the vise another turn. But that's basically it, guys. So now we got this set up. We'll send this to the turbo builder, or rather the guy who's building the manifolds, and then he can set this up. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Till the next one. Peace.